All right, so I want to use this opportunity to welcome you all once again. And I appreciate your time. Even though we are here to help you, but I still appreciate your time for making an effort to advance the next level. Right. So we have students here who want to study masters. Let me start from bachelor degree, masters, PhD, and all that. So these are three categories of people that you're looking at for. Yeah. So basically, in as much as this program is geared towards visa application, you will also be chipping in those who are even yet to start and those who are even in the process of applying for school and all that. So our main goal is to help you make your scholastic dream a reality. All right, so let's assume that majority of you have applied for school, maybe by God's grace, you have gained admission. You see, gaining admission is another ball game altogether. Don't have to take it lightly. Gaining for US admission or maybe Canada admission committee or recruiters to make a decision that okay, they are going to recommend this student to the graduate school. So there are two levels. One, the first is your department. The department will have to accept you, right? Accept you for the program that you have applied for, and then they will in turn recommend you to the graduate school. So before you get an admission, it means that you have made so much effort. About 90% of the requirement has been met. It means that you have satisfied the department requirements, and then you have also met the graduate school requirement. This is for those who want to study masters or PhD. Yeah, so it's not a joke. Whether it comes with funding or without funding, it means that you have emerged among the crowd that you are a potential good student for that department that have accepted you. So you need to be proud of yourself for getting admission in the first place. Okay, excellent. So let's assume that you are getting admission. Now the next stage is what? Visa application. Studying abroad or coming to the US or Canada or UK, okay, to study for further study, right? The most or one of the critical stage is the visa application. Don't forget, you can still get scholarship, full funding, but you can still be rejected, right? You need to make sure that all other relevant, all relevant information are met and the requirements are also met. Now, let me also let you know that no recruiter is at the consular department to reject you. It's not that they are happy to reject you. They are just making sure that you have met all the requirements. They are making sure that they are making sure to protect their what do you call it, to protect their country. That's another one, another level. Another one too is that they are making sure that who is coming to our country, right? For what purpose? Is it legit and all that? So there are several items that they look out for, which I'm going to touch on in a few seconds, right? Now, the word visa, what does the visa mean? Visa means what? Visitors International Stay Admission. Visitors International Stay Admission. It means that they are permitting you to come to their country, right, to study or whatsoever reason. So let me also let you know that you getting visa does not guarantee that you'll be able to enter into the US. I've heard about several people, not too much, but people who were sent back home at the port of entry. You need to be very careful. Getting visa doesn't mean that the game is over. You need to make sure that you have gotten all the requirements. Even at the port of entry, you can be sent back home. You need to be very careful. So visa is just a permission to study in their country. It's just a permission, temporary permission. We are talking about non-immigrant visa. F1 visa is part of it. Right. Okay. So let's assume you have gotten your admission. Now the next stage is what? Making the relevant materials available to seek to request for your I-20. Now, I-20 is not a visa. I-20 is a legal document showing that, indicating that the school that you apply for has given the permission, okay, to come to the US or any other country that you are talking about. That's the I-20. Now, getting I-20 doesn't mean that you're going to get the visa. It's just to indicate, to make a proof, or to show evidence to the consular that this school has given me what? A visa. Sorry, has given me permission. Everything's about what? Permission. Right. Okay. So what are the documents you need to send to the school to request for visa? Bear in mind that your I-20 application can also be rejected. It's not automatic. So you need to meet all the school requirements. Right. So the I-20 in the school that you have applied to, the I-20 department is different from your school admission department or your program department, right? So the I-20 department, they work with the US immigration, okay? It's an entity on its own, so you need to meet their requirements, right? So mostly, if you have all the documents like admission letter, the source of fund, right? So you need to also prove that you have source of fund before your I-20 can be issued. So source of fund can be DA, graduate assistant, or TA, or teaching assistant. You can also have full funding. The school can say that I'm giving you full funding, right? With the full funding, that means when you come to the US or Canada or whatsoever, you're not going to, the school will not, the department will not require you to work or anything, or to work for them. That means you're on your own, full funding, nothing at all. But with the GA and then the TA, it means that your school fees or your tuition fees will be waived. I repeat, your tuition, your tuition fees will be waived, and they will give you stipend to pay for your fees. So that's why I always advise my students. It's not about applying and getting admission. Whenever you apply to any school, you need to make sure that there is a possibility of you getting a GA or a TA assistantship. Sometimes you might not get a GA or the TA scholarship assistantship for your school fees to be waived, and for them to pay yours, for them to give you stipend to take care of your stuff and all that. All right. So if you don't get that, and the school has a possibility of giving you funding, if you don't get that and you're able to get some money and you come, your first semester, that's where you struggle. Second semester, you apply again for the GA or the TA, and you can still get the school fee. So that's where the first year, that's where the issue become. That's where the issue is, where you struggle small. But the second year, if you are on campus, there's a priority that you have been enrolled. So therefore, there are so many scholarships for you. And even if the school, if the school that you apply to is giving scholarship or assistantship, they will consider you fair because you have met them, you have met the faculty members, you have met the dean and all that. So they know you. This shows your seriousness. That's why a lot of people don't come, because they don't get scholarship and they are scared. Those who are hot, those who are able to get us in, let me put it that way, and come even without scholarship, the first semester they will struggle a bit. Then the subsequent semesters, even right now, when I was about to come here, the communication department sent an email that, oh, they are looking for prospective, student for GA and then GA, what do you call it? That's graduate assistantship position. Plenty of them are there, but because you are not in the country, you won't see it. You are not on campus, you do not see it. It's only when you come here and you get it. So sometimes you don't get scholarship, don't give up. There's still hope. Gather some money, okay, and try and come. When you come, there are so many funding opportunities that you can take advantage of. I think Dr. Mansell will touch on that as we proceed. So that's the GA and the TA, or full or partial scholarship. Sometimes maybe giving partial scholarship and you have deficits, then you have to work. The one you're giving partial scholarship, you need preparation to come. Get some financial statement and make an attempt to come. Because when you land here, there are so many opportunities that you can apply. You can go and see your supervisor. Sometimes your supervisor can even help you apply for some of the scholarship available. They will not let you struggle like that. Okay. So it's all about those who are, who have the, the motivation that no matter what, I'm going to come. And when I come, I also look for some other available scholarship and other things. You can also use fellowship. Fellowships are also there. A lot of over here, there are so many rich people that are assisting people, especially in terms of scholarship and all that. So what I do is that every year, Mr. Livingston will give like 50,000 for scholarship. Another person will give 10,000 for scholarship. Some are fellowship and all that. And then the school gather them. The school gather all those scholarships and they share, which is available to those who apply. All right. So full funding or fellowship. And another thing that you may want to also provide support. Maybe you want to use your family, your parents, or somebody of available support to apply for your I-20. Now let's see. Usually, with affidavit of support, I also recommend that if it is your mother, your father, or any of your siblings, great, right? Or your personal fund, excellent, okay. But when you want to use your uncle or somebody of that sort, your auntie, very careful. It means that you need to show a whole lot of evidence that you and your uncle has been engaging in a lot of activities, or your uncle has been supporting you throughout your education and all that. That's where they will have to take a second look at not that your uncle and then your auntie are not good, but to me, your parents and your siblings are the most excellent source of fund that you can add. That you are good to go. But the moment you want to use your uncle, your auntie, you need to be very careful, because the embassy are now beginning to know that this uncle and this auntie things, some of them are just lying. Okay, yeah. So you need to be very careful. So over here, you need to show evidence that your uncle has been doing this for you. Not that all of a sudden, all of a sudden that you got admission now, your uncle came in and you want to support you. Bring some evidence. Maybe they have been supporting you, maybe throughout your SHS education, maybe university education. Bring some evidence, some chart, have a proof that he has been helping me. Why is it that your uncle wants to spend about 50,000 on you? Okay, it's sometimes it's just once in a blue moon that your uncle will spend like 50,000 on you. So that's why the consular may not really be convinced. So you have to prove beyond that how to convince the consular that your uncle, your auntie is still in support of it and ready to support you financially and all that. Right. So updates of support are good. So you may show your uncle, if you're using whosoever, your uncle whatsoever, make sure you can look at other, uncle annual income, uncle where he works and other things, and everything should be mostly getting the I-20 is not much as compared to the visa. All right. So I'll talk more about this as we proceed. So let's assume that your I-20 has been issued. Congratulations. Now the next stage is what? Is to pay for your visa fee. I must say that about 80% of rejection is as a result of funding. Yes, funding. And then second is what? Immigration intent. When you see, sometimes when they look at the way you are talking, some of you, because of over excitement, you just speak anyhow. and they will get you. That's 214. I'll talk about it as we proceed. So these are the two main things: potential immigrants and then lack of funds. These are the two main things. Now, okay, I'll talk about it in a jiffy. Let's proceed. Now, payment of the visa, payment of visa fees, right? So after getting your I-20, then you have to pay your visa fee. I think $160. I don't know what has changed. Then you complete your visa profile account, and then you complete your DS-160. Your DS-160 is very, very critical. Anything that you put on your DS-160, it will be there forever. Bear in mind that even when you come to the US and there's chance of getting permanent residence and all that, anything that you put on your DS-160 will have future consequences. Okay, so you have to be very sure. So if you go and put in a lie on your DS-160, and later on there's a possibility of you getting permanent resident or green card or other thing to stay on or to work, be very careful. So DS-160 should be completed diligently, carefully. Don't joke with it, because that is the primary source of raw information to the consular. So before you go to the consular, they have your information already to scan to and know you well. Okay. And let me also let you know that DS-160 can be changed several times. Okay.
Noah.
Yeah.
Noah, can you put your presentation your
Yeah, hello Maxwell. Hello Maxwell.
Yeah, Noah. Yeah, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said, can you put the presentation? I think it's not yet in a presentation mode. So if you can put it in a presentation mode so that we can all see it well.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I think this one help, right?
Yes, yeah, this is nice. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. That's good. All right. So I don't want to waste much time here. So yeah. So payment of the visa fee and then creation of profile and the DS-160. Very careful. Don't have to make any mistake. No mistake on your DS-160. No mistake. Anything mistake, you will get it. Then you have to schedule for your appointment. Then you pay your service fee, $350 and all that. So your I-20 is what you use when you come to the state or any country. Okay, your I-20 become your visa. So you can have like I-20 like 4 years and all that. Even your visa expire, your I-20 can be used, but later you need to renew your visa and all that. All right, so we are done with that part. Okay, so prepare for the interview. There are so many material you need to gather, right? So these are the most critical information that if you mix any of them, right, there's a possibility that you can get 221 gene missing information, and you have to come back again. Now, the first one is your I-20. Don't forget your financial documents, all the documents, all your scholarships, funding, everything. Arrange them well. See, the more we are well organized, the more you make the consular work, good. Sometimes even the way you put yourself or organize yourself, even tell the consular that this guy is well organized, and it can even influence the consular to give you an approval. Your passport, you shouldn't expiring date should not be more than what do you call it, 6 months. Okay, if you have 6 months for your visa to expire, that is very careful. Okay, better renew it. So when you renew it, make sure you add your old passport and your new passport together when you apply. All right, and then in case you have not applied to any school before, you have not applied to any, you have not renewed the passport to travel before, and you have renewed your passport, forget about the old passport. But if you have a visa in your old passport, then you bring the old and then the new passport together. Okay. All right. Then your DS-160 confirmation page, which you have to print. Right. And then your visa interview appointment confirmation page. Then your passport pictures. Birth cert. Okay. Birth cert is not a requirement, but I always recommend that you go along with a birth certificate. I've had instances where a consular was challenging the applicant about age and other thing, father, who is this? Because your father will be on your birth cert to show as a proof that, yeah, this is your father, and he is willing to what? Sponsor me. If there's any discrepancies on your birth certificate, be very careful. Then you need to have all the supporting all supporting documents like affidavit of support to prove to beyond that yes, this and this and this. Or let's say, for instance, there's a change of name. You see, the moment there's a slight change of name, be very careful. That's where your birth certificate can help to save you, and your affidavit of support can save you. So any discrepancies, sometimes your birth certificate can come in to support. So don't forget to add it, even though it is not a mandatory document for your visa application. Now, your academic transcript. Hey, don't forget your SHS transcripts. They are all important. Pick them. You may never know. From your SHS, your degree, or your master, if you're going for PhD. So from SHS, all your transcript, whatever the grade it might be, pick them. All right. They are all SHS is optional, but I advise pick them. And then your what do you call it? Certificates. Okay, you have to add your certificate and all that. Then all your financial documents, ownership and other things. Then introduction letter. Let's say for example, you are working for a company. It makes it very, prudent to get a letter from your company when you're working. But sometimes because applicants want to hide from their companies that they want to make a move to travel outside the country, so they don't want to. But if you're able to get a letter from your company, let's say you're working for Tigo, you're working for HFC or maybe a public bank, and their boss give you a letter that this is one of our workers and he's going to study abroad. So you are giving him all the support and you request that you approve his visa for him. Excellent. It clears so many doubts about you. So if you're working right now, your company is willing to give you a letter, hallelujah. Endeavor to get it if you can. Then what ties you down to your home country? Remember that funding and immigration intent are the most determinant of visa approval. So for instance, what ties you down can be family. If you're married, excellent. You have a kid, great. Maybe a young guy graduate, you are not married, even girlfriend, you don't even have. What can you show? Okay, so somebody can show your job offer, and then you can also show your assets if you have land, house, and all those. All those things are very important. But if you don't have them as a student, you should let them know that, oh, you just completed your education and this and this and this and this and that. Yeah. But according to the US Embassy, Ghana, all right, okay, they have indicated that about 80% of applicants don't come back when they come to the US. That's why they are sometimes key about what ties you down. You have to be very careful. If you are able to guess those documents, then that is okay. Job offer, excellent. I've already said it. Okay, so all these things are very, very important. What ties you down? After your scholarship and everything, your sort of funding is good. What ties you down is what you should not forget. Those things, I'm going to tag them in the next slide. So, right. So, rejection are mostly one under 214B, which says that potential immigrants. What proof can you show to the consular that when you go to America, when you go to the US, when you go to Canada or UK, you're going to come back? I know for sure some of you are willing to, there's a possibility that maybe when you can get an opportunity to still, I mean, that is okay, right? That is fine, but you don't need to, go and tell the consular that there's a question that what is your future plan? Then you go and say, oh, my future plan after graduation, then I guess I'm job in the US and try and look for other opportunities. Your visa is rejected. anything that you are telling the consular, you should link it to your home country. Link it to your home country. When I return, this word should be around all the things that you be saying. When I return. To let them know that you're not even interested in going to stay there. You're just going to study and come back home. Very careful. Especially if you don't have anything to prove that you come back. If you don't have anything to prove, doesn't also show them that they shouldn't give you a visa. There's no that if you don't have anything to show, they should deny you. No. Sometimes if you have something to show as a proof, it makes it very easy for them to approve your case on right away. Okay. And then another thing is that missing essential information. 221G. After your application, they'll give you some white sheet. 221G. Missing information. This is the most foolish rejection I've ever seen. Okay, so with a 221G, why will you give the consular to send you back home to go and bring some document? Bring all the even the one that are not or even relevant, bring them, put them in the file. If they request for it, fine. If they don't, that's okay. It is always good to over prepare than under prepare. I repeat, it is always good to over prepare than under prepare. So bring all the material that are indicated. Put them together. If you don't need your transcript, that's okay. If you don't need your birth certificate, fine. You don't need this, fine. But you have them prepared. There are a lot of people holding on. So don't give the chance to the consular to reject you. Then 221G, public charge. Public charge usually, it's not for non-immigrant visa like you guys, but especially immigrant visa, permanent resident. But still, they still consider public charge means that you become a burden to the states. You become a burden to. That's why they need financial statement, financial approval. Okay. So how are you going to make your financial statements available for them? That's okay. That's you, your God, and your application. Fine. Fraud and misrepresentation. That one you have closed your door. If you do any fraud or misrepresentation, then you have closed your door sometimes for years or permanently. That's why it is always I don't recommend applicants to lie. Be careful if you're lying, because it can be considered as fraud. I've heard people editing their I-20. They give themselves scholarship, full funding. I don't have funding. And last week or last 2 weeks, students in the state here, they were sent, they received letters to go back home because the company, the U.S. embassy are now following up. They do another background check because sometimes your school is just about to start, so they don't want to delay you so that they can just approve you with lies that you have provided. So be very careful. If they do intensive background check again and they find out, you will be here in the States and they'll grab you, send you to the plane, and the next morning you are in Ghana or you're in your home country. So be very careful when you are in the States, when you are preparing your document. Inadequate source of fund, it's another cause. Then lack of information about the program. Now you're going to read information system, don't even know anything about the information system. Potential rejection. If you read much about the school that you're going to study, and then the program itself, Professor, I'm going to touch on this in a few minutes. Over prepare, be knowledgeable about all the things you want to do. Try and email some of the schools, some of the students in your department, okay, and ask them more questions, inquire about them. Prepare as if you have been in the school before. And then criminal record. If you have had criminal record before, that one the total automatic rejection. If you are not, and then let's say you have come to US and you have overstayed. And then also somebody tried to file for you some time ago and it didn't succeed. Sometimes they want to question, they want to do a second check. But this guy tried to go for, let's say for your mother tried to bring you here to the States, and then your visa everything was rejected, and later you want to apply for school. I'm not saying that you can't get a visa, but you need to be very careful. Yeah. All right. So these are the most important type of rejection. Okay. So visa interview questions. So there are many questions that pops up, but I cannot, I cannot give all the instances. So there are few selected one I want to touch on. How are you going to fund your education in the US? Excellent. Maybe my father is okay. The school is giving me maybe partial funding, and my father is supporting. My father has been supporting me for for several years and all that. And this is his statement. This is his bank statement. This is his annual income, and this is the name of the company he works. Okay, and you are showing your proof. Okay, why did you choose to study at this particular university? Sometimes they say that I want to get exposure. Who told you that that is not a plausible reason? I want to get exposure. The school has resources. This, give a reason why you want to spend $20,000 to come and study, let's say, information science or information technology. Why you can go to University of Ghana and pay, let's say, 5,000 Ghana cedis and study the same program. Give us the reason. That's the reason they're looking out for. Why did you choose the school? Maybe, for instance, maybe you have scanned through the professor's, profile, and you come to the realization that their research interests and the mode of the course outline, the course content, the course structure is actually in line with you. The research focus of the professors resonate with what you want to do. And then after doing an extensive research about the professor, you realize that the activities and all that, if you're able to do for this knowledge, you're able to broaden your mental horizon, or you're going to broaden your mental, your knowledge frontier in that university, instead of maybe Ghana or whatsoever. Before you can even bring about the resources and then maybe internship opportunities and then the practicality of the course and what made the course so unique and why that school. So you need to move around the school and then give out very concrete, if you get one concrete answer, and you're good to go. Do you plan to stay back after studying in the US? This is something to trick you. Over a certain, oh yes, if I get opportunity, I will stay. Don't go and say that thing. We are not willing to stay there. Let's say that when you're done with your school, okay, you come back home and support your country, you support your community, you support this, you support that. That is what they're looking after. Giving you all the tips. Maybe you might have secondary, plans, but that should not be your primary. You came here to study. You are coming here to study. That should be your focus. Don't go and commit yourself. I'll do for company to work. Master, you're not going to work there. You're going to study. That's the main primary purpose. So after graduating, then you come back home and help. Even though there's what's called OPT and that thing, don't be excited about it. Even though that is what you are looking at for. Don't be excited about it with the consular. Just tell them that after graduation, you come back home and support your community. You come back home and support your government. You come back home and support your company. That's all. Don't even mention. Don't even go there. Do you have relatives living in the States? Over here, if you have your parents, okay, your parent is what I recommend. That okay, if you have your parent in there, I mean, stay here because they will know. Parents, they will know. But if you have your uncle, your step sisters, and whatsoever, don't go and don't mention that you know anybody. That is all. Your parents are enough. Okay. And sometimes your siblings are working, maybe government sectors and other things. Sometimes let me comment. I will look at what do you call it? Parents. That is all. Parents is what you want me to indicate. Okay. But if your siblings are working in maybe what do you call it? Government sector, and they're well known, and all. Even if you're not really linked with any siblings and all that is okay. To me, parent is what you should mention, that you know somebody in the States. Okay. After your parent, anybody at all, I mean, that's okay. Unless there are other somebody is sponsoring you from the US and giving you bank statement, or that one you can have to indicate. What do you want to study in the States? You should know. Don't go and say that US is nice and resources, blah, blah, blah. No. There should be something specific. That's why I always recommend that you go along with your statement of purpose. statement of purpose you also have in line with what you want to say at the consulate, at the embassy. Okay, so go along with your statement of purpose, review it over and over again. It will help you to know exactly why you want to study in that school, why US, not UK, not Canada, not Germany, not maybe Sweden and all that. Your statement of purpose is very, very critical. So review it and let it synchronize with your visa interview. All right. So before I end my presentation and Dr. Marshall Counseling, let's look at some examples here about your school. Okay. What do you want to study in the US? Study that one. How long are you planning to stay? Your program, listen, if your program is 2 years, okay, and the visa, the consular and the usually they will give you like 4-year visa and all that. Mention the what do you call it? The duration of the school of your program. That is all. Even though you have to stay, you can stay there to work 2 years after and all that. But if it is 2 years, how long are you planning to stay? 2 years. Simple, because the program is 2 years, so 2 years. Even though there are opportunities for you to stay there and work as we using your OPT. I'll talk about that in the GP. Using your OPT to work at the school and all that. But be consistent. Just say the school. Okay, 2 years, 2 years, 1 year, 1 year. That should be your primary goal, even though you can stay along. What are the colleges you apply to and how many you get admitted to? I mean, if you have applied any other school, mention them. That's fine. Mention the name of the university you got admitted to. Sometimes you can really go blank and you don't even know what to say. Be very careful. What made you choose? What made you choose this specific college? That is also the same. You see, why do you want to? Why this school? And the same as what for you to choose that school? They are all part. Do you know your professors at the university? That's why you should be very careful. Sometimes in the US, the professors they even have their CVs on the website. Read, research. Over prepared and under prepared. Look for the potential researchers, potential professors. Look for their what do you call it? Look for their profile. Read, look for their CVs. Get acquainted with them. Be knowledgeable about them. Have so much information about the school. You are going to complete the process. Okay, tell me about your academic background. Maybe you study psychology, now you want to do computer science. Why? There should be a link. But if you study the same course and going to do the same course, then it becomes very easy. So sometimes when there's a change of program, another way to get to, there's a change of program. You did theology, right now you want to do computer science. Why? Do computer science, right now you want to do communication. Why? There's another trick to show that you just want to go to the US. You need to give out reason. Maybe change of career, change of mind. Sometimes you need to write most of the answers down. Well prepared. Don't shoot the answers, but write them down. So at any point in time, they ask you you know what to say. Okay, how will you be funding your study? You have to indicate or go straight to the point, don't be the right book. Who is paying for your education in the US? What is their profession? Or what are their profession also? Right. So that if your parent, your company, and all that, mention all those things. And if you're going with the company, don't forget to get a letter from your company to show to them. If you're using company statement of purpose without a letter, and there's 50% that you get rejected. So you need to get a letter from your company. Good. Then the annual income of the parent or in the profession, that's I already mentioned it. How did you get this scholarship? Why do you think they give this scholarship? You want to know your knowledge and your potential. Why is it that they use some clue or some listen to give the scholarship and all that? You need to give them the reason why they are spending that huge sum of money on you. Okay, do you think about your project job and annual income? Okay, sometimes the question can be asked in different angles, in different ways. So you need to be very, very careful. Then when you are there's inconsistency in your answers, that's where rejection will come in. Educational fund. Do you have brothers and sisters? Okay. If yes, how many? Do you have relatives living in the US? I said, if you don't go and be mentioning your uncle and whoever step-sisters, what you don't mention it. If your parents are there, fine. If your siblings are also there, it depends. I already said it. Do you have relatives studying in the same university? If somebody is studying in the same university and blah 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 blah, all these things are just to trick you to check whether there's potential immigrant. 2214. Very careful. Some of these answers, they'll be saying no. Nothing to cover things. All right. Do you plan to stay back in the US? I already said it. Another way to trick you and all that. So we see that you have a good work experience. Do you have any savings? Maybe you have some financial savings. Let me bring this in. No matter the scholarship you get, if you have your personal statement, add it. Any amount you have, add it. Let them know that you are a very responsible man or a very responsible lady. Okay, good. All right. So now, some of the do's and then don'ts. Okay. How to dress for your interview. These are just you can take a snapshot of. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to spend time to say all these things. Just take a picture of it, and then you should be fine. Where don't overdress. Okay, don't overdress. Just simple. Okay, and don't be using what they call it, high fragrance and other styles and all that. Just dress normal. Okay. Some people can, if you wear suits with under that hot water, if you get it, you get it. Just be simple. Okay. If you want to go by suit, fine. But I mean, I recommend just dress simple. Okay. Normal, right? I mean, you're good to go. I hope you have taken the snapshot of it. These are some things you should. All right. So all right, now another thing before I end, OPT, your optional practical training. Okay. Now, if your course is a STEM course like science, like information science, computer science, any of the science courses, you have 2 years to work. That 2 years that you're going to work, that is where your breakthrough is lies. That's where your breakthrough lies. Okay. So if you're able to work well, if the company hire you and you're working, be diligent, work hard. And the moment you are working so hard and you stand out, that's where the company will be willing to sponsor you. You know that they will sponsor you for maybe extended visa, sponsor you. The next stage is what? Helping you to get work permits, okay, work authorization, and then subsequently green card if they want to proceed with you. So that is the most important stage to help you get opportunity in the US. If it's not a STEM course, maybe sociology, maybe social work and other things, you have 1 year to work. Okay, after all. Now there's one thing you need to know. Okay. If you come to the US and maybe some financial crisis, okay, financial crisis, you can request for your OPT before time. Especially when your funding is not that good, you can request for your OPT and they'll give it to you once you are studying. Okay, you can get some money to take up for yourself. Bear in mind that if you use your OPT, okay, whilst you are in school, to work full time, 40 hours or more as a student, then when you graduate, you have to come back home. Then you have exhausted your time. You have exhausted that opportunity. So usually I recommend that wait until you graduate. Then you can use that time. If you work very hard, even that period, that 2 years, you can even use that period to build a house in Ghana. If you get a very good work and you are being paid well, you can build houses, buy cars, and get married if you want. Okay. And then on the flip side, in case you come here and then you fall in love with somebody, another opportunity. You fall in love with the new love. I'm not talking about fake love. You fall in love with a citizen or green card holder in the States. Simple for you to stay here forever. Okay. So when you come here, make sure that you have all those things in mind if you want to. If you have, I'm not saying that go and break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend at home. Okay. I mean, if you don't have some and you come here and God being so good, you meet somebody and get married, another way to green card. Okay, if the company want to hire you and give you green card, that's another way. Okay, there are other opportunities out there. Okay, unless you come here before you be told. All right, but there are so many opportunities. So don't allow anything to distract you. Don't allow anything to to get you despair. If you get rejected, apply again. One of my TAs, Department of Information, Mahama, he applied for about, I think, almost more than 15 schools for within 3 years. I think 3 or 2 years, yeah. And now he's here, funded, working. Really. Okay. So I just want to recap. If you are applying for school, make sure that the school has a GA and then TA offer. Okay. And then even if you don't get scholarship and you come, within the following semester or let's say spring semester, you can apply and you can get it. And you can come back to your normal life and enjoy life and study. Okay. For your visa, 3 things. Potential immigrants, and then potential immigrants, and making sure that you have funding and you are knowledgeable about the school, okay, and you are honest and you are cogent, straightforward with your answers. Be factual with your answers. Thank you so much for your time. The next session will be Dr. Maxwell, where he will touch more on loan, scholarship, and other great opportunities as a student when you come here in the States or when you go to Canada or UK as international students. Thank you. Yeah, so Dr. Maxwell, are you there, or you should
Yeah, Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm here. That was a good presentation, and I think I'll just add some few lines and then we'll open it up for questions, right?
Okay.
So that we can, because this is going to be more interactive. So bring all your questions. I'm going to present for maybe 20 or 30 minutes, and then we would get to know the questions that you have. So Noah, let me share. Can you stop sharing so that I can?
Okay. Yeah. Somebody was asking for my number. I still use my Ghana number. So if you want, I've put it at the chat room. So if you want to get my number, is there. All right. So this is where all your questions will be answered. So don't go, stay on for this short presentation. Then we can answer all your questions. Okay. All right.
Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I am so happy today to be here, and I see a lot of people. I can see some people walking by the roadside, some people taking strolls, some eating, and still some in the car, and they are still listening. It tells you how eager we are to study and then to make success. And that is the reason why we are here. And I can see people also relaxing in their bed and listening to us. The main thing, or the main reason why GSN, or Global Students Network, we try as much as possible to do this for you is one, to help you not get duped by people, or to help you not get scammed by all these scammers that are charging so much. Nobody has built any university here in the US, but they'll be charging you more money for services like this. That is the reason why with GSN, we try as much as possible to always give you the best way, right? And my presentation today mainly will be focused on the practical aspect of what Noah has been talking about, right? All those details that are in there, we are going to look at it practically and see how you can apply them. Let me tell you, the biggest thing here is that the consular officer that you're going for the interview, his purpose is to determine your qualifications for a student visa, right? So he just have to determine whether you are qualified for it. That is all that he has to do. The fact that you've applied, gotten admitted, and have been issued an I-20, it's part fulfillment of that goal or aim. So the consular officer is just to check to make sure that all the things that you said you were is, and that is the reason why he is there. So we would have to look at practical insights on that, right? And the food for thought for today is that your past behavior is the greatest predictor of your future behavior. So what your life, the things that you've done in the past, up until the time that you are going for the visa, is what the consular officer is going to look on to see if you qualify or not, right? So that is what I mean by saying that your past behavior is the greatest predictor for your future behavior. So let's look into that. Noah talked a lot about the visa application process and the denials, right? But I want to highlight on one key thing, right? And that key thing that I'm highlighting on right now is on preparation. You know that there is a saying that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And by failing to plan or planning to fail, it means that the biggest determining factor of your success in a student visa interview does not depend on the training that you are doing or the practice that you are doing when you get your I-20 issued. Your ability to be successful in a visa interview depends on the work you are doing before you even apply for a school to study abroad. I hope you understand that. So that is the reason why the biggest key here is your study intent. Why do you want to study? Why do you want to study abroad? I know Noah talked a lot, so I'm not going to talk about all those highlight points. But one of the key elements here is that if you decide to study in a school in the US, one of the big things that you have to look out for is the status of the school, right? What is the status of the school? Is the school well known? What is the location? What is the program? And then the application process. But all this is summarized by one